And we're live. This is the Roto Hackers. We are back after years and years. I am Judah Buddha, and I'm here with It's Jared. And we're waiting on
And also
uh,
story.
on
Also
uh,
stories here.
oh, and Story. Don't forget Story. Quite the little narrative.
That's right.
Oh.
That's right.
Anyway, we're tuning in to watch the draft, or at least we're going to
That's right.
comment on the draft
Comment on the draft.
live.
We're kind of like George Clooney after he left ER. Like we just like every few years we make an appearance. Like
Yeah,
just to let people know that we don't forget where we came from. And all that sort of thing.
yeah, yeah. So here we are, and let me check my level. I haven't even checked. So that's pretty good. What are some of your predictions, Jared? What are you looking at as some things that may go weird or may go well tonight?
Well, it's like the polar opposite draft of 2024, right? Because we had six quarterbacks taken in the
Mm,
first 12 picks, including Bo Nix, who came to Denver. This is actually a Denver Nuggets shirt, but whatever. Um, so Bo Nix came to Denver, had a great season. Most of those quarterbacks that we got to see for any amount of time, did pretty well. So, but this year, it's kind of like things even out. So maybe only one quarterback goes in the first round. Probably, only one in the
hmm.
first 10 or 15 picks. And then after that, it's kind of a question of where Shadur Sanders is going to go, where Jackson Dart's going to go,
Yeah.
where the Louisville quarterback might go.
To
Um,
Ashton Genty or whatever. Who's that? Genty.
yeah, the Boise State
Boise
running.
State
Yeah. Well, and that's going to be
running
really
back.
yeah, that's going to be really interesting because people are thinking that he's probably going to go like maybe 5 to Jacksonville. I'm wondering if
That's what I
somebody
saw.
might even like, the Raiders are one pick back behind that. If they really want him, why
Mm.
don't you trade with New England to jump Jacksonville and take him? Because if Geno
Mm.
Smith is going to be your quarterback, and it looks like he is, you're going to need a good running game. So
Mm.
that seems to make a lot of sense to me. Is if the Raiders would trade places with the Patriots, Patriots probably taking an offensive tackle, still get their guy, pick up another pick from the Raiders. Um, so I that's like that makes sense to me. I have not seen anyone else like saying that in terms of like potential trades, but
Mm.
I don't know why the Raiders wouldn't do that if they want him and they definitely need him. So um, I think maybe it was
No.
just to finish off that point. I think maybe it was
Yeah.
the Bears GM who was saying he was expecting a crazy night and lots of trades. So we'll see.
Really? Well, that'll be interesting. Harder to predict though.
Hmm.
Right now, I've got Cam Ward going number one to Tennessee. Is that pretty much a given? Is Cam Ward the man, the quarterback? I guess he was a Heisman finalist. Is he the one? Hey, story. Is he the one that people are salivating over?
So I don't
Like
know if
story for. Oh,
well,
good.
I think he's going to go number one. That there seems to be like about 3 picks that people think are a lock. Um,
Okay.
Ward to Tennessee, Travis Hunter to Cleveland, and then Abdul Carter to the
Jackson.
Giants. To the Giants.
Oh, I've got Jackson Dart. Interesting.
I don't think the Giants take a quarterback at 3. I think the Giants either take one in the second round or maybe try to trade back into the first to get one. But I don't think
Okay.
another quarterback goes. And Tennessee is on the clock
Okay.
now, so we're officially going after we watched Roger Goodell ride out on a
Come out on a
bicycle.
bike?
Yeah, I was kind of just halfway expecting him to just ride off the stage and like just create a really awkward situation. Yeah, so not much seems to be a lock beyond the first 3 picks. And even if I mean I don't know, even if I was the Giants, I don't know why I wonder if the Giants might throw a curveball and say like, "Hey, we'll take Ashton Genty." You know, like the thing about Genty, I think the thing. So I mentioned before, like, I mean, it's year.
Sorry, wait, say that again. What?
No, I was just saying. I think we talked about it's such a polar opposite year from last year in terms of quarterbacks because we don't have. Oh, hang on. Oh, so apparently, I think I just heard Adam Schefter say that the Giants tried to trade with the Titans to get the number 1 pick. So apparently, the Giants wanted to take Cam Ward.
See, I think they're going. I think they're going for quarterback. Who do they have lined up right now? They've got like
they have Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston. Yeah. So it's the quarterback room's a little barren there. Yeah, but I mean, just because they need one, I mean, I don't know. I mean, do they think that there's another one worth that spot, or did they just like Cam Ward?
That's very possible.
Yeah, and what's interesting is if you look at all the redrafts of the 2024 draft, like the Giants were at 6. I think they were at 6 again. I think they were at 6 last year, if I remember right. But they passed on. They passed on J.J. McCarthy. They passed on Michael Penix. They passed on Bo Nix. If they had to do it over again, you have to think they would take Bo Nix, probably Michael Penix, maybe J.J. McCarthy, although we didn't really see enough from him to know what he's going to be. But, I mean, it was just kind of weird. I mean, obviously they got a great player in Malik Neighbors last year, but I don't know. If you can get a quarterback, you either have a quarterback or you're looking for a quarterback. And so I don't know.
But that brings up a good point, though, or a point that I was thinking about, and that is that how many, let's say, first round draft quarterbacks have gone on to be good? Doesn't seem like many. When I'm looking back and thinking about it, early pick quarterbacks tend to be mediocre at best.
I mean, it depends.
Luck was like one of the best, right? To go first, he went first. He was one of the best quarterbacks out there. I mean, he could be arguably the best of them. But I mean, who else other than Luck has gone early that has turned out to be real good?
Well, I mean, but by the same token, like if you think about guys who have gone in later rounds, how many of those that can you think of that have? I mean, Tom Brady's always the obvious example. But I mean, you look at the guys that are currently in the league, Josh Allen, early first round pick, Patrick Mahomes, I think 12th overall, Joe Burrow, number 1 overall pick.
That's true. There you go.
So I think
there's a couple of them. Yeah.
I think we had kind of a run for a while where, you had some busts in the first round and then people kind of, got a little bit gun shy or the narrative changed a little bit, but it seems like lately they've started to figure out more like, who are, who, like, what are the traits that you're looking for and that sort of thing. I mean, even your guy in Green Bay, Jordan Love, later first round pick, but still.
I guess that's what I was looking at is early first round pick, like number 1s in particular. Number 1s and 2s have just been. Other than Luck, I can't think of one that has been a really good pick.
Yeah, I think. Well, I think it's kind of true for a lot of positions in those early picks. Is kind of. There's so much pressure for you to be the number 1 overall pick. Like it's like you're supposed to be, a Hall of Fame player, or if you're not, you're a bust. So I think there's a lot of pressure on that. And we have seen, number 1 overall picks that have not, I mean, Trevor Lawrence was number 1 overall. Trevor Lawrence has been okay. But he's not been great. So I think that's a tough spot for quarterbacks, especially because if you're a starting quarterback, you're gonna be the face of a franchise. If you're the number one overall pick, then you're expected to be just like a Hall of Famer, So,
Yeah, that's true. Heavy pressure. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But
Joe Burrow, I think Joe Burrow. He was I forget he was
yeah,
number one. He definitely was a good pick number one.
yeah, right.
Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray is okay.
Yeah, Kyler, I think is just. I mean, he's so small. I mean that it feels like it's always the same story every year. Where, and
Yeah.
by the way, the Titans pick is in. I don't think we're going to see anything crazy with this. But Kyler Murray is so small that like it's the same story every year. Where by the time you get to the end of the season, he's taken such a beating that he doesn't play the same. So
Yeah.
I'm
So who
all,
we going? Who we got here?
I'd be stunned if it's anybody other than Cam Ward.
I'm hoping for a stunner. Let's get some excitement starting
me
early.
too. Me too. I'm all for it. Who we got? Yep, Cam Ward.
Cam Ward.
Yeah, Goodell threw a little, a teeny little. Oh, nice! You even got him all, teed up there. Yeah, Goodell threw a little wrinkle there and called him Cameron Ward. So
Cameron, going with the formal.
Going with the formal, but I mean, you look at like 2 years ago. The Titans took Will Levis. Like in the second round. And so. It's like second round picks. If people don't have a first round pick invested in you, it is very easy to move on from you. So,
I see that Jaguars trade up to second pick. Is that true?
Oh yeah. The Browns just traded.
The Browns traded down.
So I bet they're coming up to take. I bet they're coming up to take Travis Hunter.
Travis Hunter.
I mean, it'd be interesting.
Who would be?
Go ahead.
Who would be an alternative to Travis Hunter? I mean, it seems like he would be that's the guy who they're going to go with, right?
I mean, I think the only other thing is if they're afraid that they wouldn't get Ashton Jeanty at 5. Although it kind of goes back to the point I was going to make earlier is, it's so crazy. The NFL is such a copycat league. So you go back to a year ago. You had all these running backs on the market. You had Saquon Barkley. You had Aaron Jones, all these different guys, and just like they were just getting, so much less money than they thought they'd get. It's like, running back's not a big deal. We don't care. Saquon Barkley then goes to Philly, has a record year, wins a Super Bowl with them, and all of a sudden people are like, we've got to get a running back now. I think like it's like we talked about. It's like we talked about coaches, NFL coaches in the league, where like Sean McVay did well, and then all of a sudden everyone wants a coach who looks like Sean McVay, like not even just like a young coach, but like Cliff Kingsbury, all these guys of like these like attractive, handsome, 30, short-haired, 32-year-old coaches. We got to get one of those. And so it's such a weird copycat league. So I think what you're going to have in this draft is, I think you're going to have Jeanty, that he's going to go. I don't know. He might go with this pick. Who knows? But I'm guessing they're going up for Travis Hunter. But it would not shock me if they got Jeanty. I think Omarion Hampton.
Jeanty. Maybe
he goes in the first 12 picks or so, the running back out of UNC. So I think it's just such a copycat league that this is a great year to be a running back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Travis Hunter is probably going to be it.
I think it's, if I was putting money on it, I think it's Travis Hunter. I mean, you need weapons for Trevor Lawrence. they picked up Brian Thomas, out of USC, or I'm sorry, not USC, LSU. Last year, he came on strong at the end of the year. Travis Hunter is a different sort of type of player. Thomas is well, I mean, in some ways he is. I mean, both are, I think kind of good deep threats, but, Travis Hunter is the maybe kind of the Shohei Ohtani of the NFL, a guy who can play both ways,
Yeah.
I'll say, okay, here's
that's what makes this guy. Oh,
so here's what they got. So to go up 3 spots, the Browns give up. Wow, they give up a lot. So there's a bunch of picks that they swapped, but the main story is they gave up their second rounder this year and their first rounder next year to go up 3 spots.
Well, the Browns didn't give up anything, right?
The Browns gave up they gave up a 4th and a 6th, and then the Browns also gave up a 5th I'm
Wait,
sorry.
Why are they giving up to go down?
Well, because these are later round picks. So basically, as part of the deal, they're swapping like a couple. Like,
what do they get though?
So the main
what do they get?
So the main thing that the Browns get is they get a second round. They get Jacksonville's second rounder this year, and they get their first rounder next year. And then the rest of it is not meaningless, but it's less important because it's basically like swapping some later round picks from like 4th or 5th
Gotcha.
round. So the headline of the story is, Cleveland gets a second this year, which is a high pick. It's the Jaguars' 5th pick of the second round, and they get a first next year. So that's a great deal for Cleveland, I think.
I guess so, but it kind of feels like they're just sort of telegraphing that they don't need a quarterback. They're happy with their quarterback.
Who, Cleveland?
Or do you think that they might go for Or do you think they might go for a good quarterback in the second round?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think this pick was going to be a quarterback regardless. I mean, I think it was going to be Travis Hunter, whoever was picking there. So I think basically Cleveland just said, the value we're getting for, we think is greater than the value in Travis Hunter. And I think that's probably true. I mean, Travis Hunter is a great player, but man, that is a lot to go up 3 spots. I mean, you're still getting the 5th pick of the draft, to go back 3 spots, and you're getting those extra picks to go back 3 spots. I mean, that's a great deal, I think, for Cleveland. Now, if Travis Hunter turns out, to be a Hall of Famer and Cleveland doesn't do much with their picks, then, you never know. But here we go. Here's Roger Goodell. Okay. Actually, he's got a little narrative first, so. Oh, we're announcing the Walter Payton Man of the Year award.
Each year, who best represents greatness and compassion, both on and off the field and in the community. Tonight, we are proudly joined by the 2024 Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year.
How does my audio sound, by the way? I haven't set up my mic or anything, so we're just going off of like earbud audio here.
It sounds fine.
A lot of Jacksonville fans in attendance.
Okay.
It's always a good reminder that Jacksonville fans exist. Yeah, this is going to be, it's going to be interesting to see if then it changes what Cleveland does, potentially, because, I mean, what then does Cleveland take?
What's their next pick?
Right. Story.
No, I meant what is their next pick? What number?
So this is just 2 with Jacksonville. So
No. I mean the Browns. So is it just they go to the second round, or do they have another first round pick?
hang on. So they took. So they just go back to 5 is all. They just go back 3 spots. But here it is.
The Browns. Oh.
Yep, Travis Hunter. Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know how that is for Travis Hunter. Maybe that's a good deal. I mean, he gets better weather at least. I mean, he's just kind of a crappy team either way. But yeah, he has to go to a place with better weather. So all that happened was they
I didn't realize. Yeah, Jacksonville's had 5th pick. They just traded up to get
Travis
the 2nd
Hunter.
pick.
Yeah, because Cleveland would have basically,
Taken Travis.
yeah, Cleveland was going to take him by all accounts.
Okay.
So, so they wanted him bad. I mean, they gave up a lot to get him. They gave up again. I'm not going to get into all the later round swap stuff, but the main thing is, Cleveland just went back 3 spots and was able to pick up the 5th pick of the 2nd round this year.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
And Jacksonville's 1st round pick next year. And
this is our 1st round pick.
Oh my goodness.
AJ Herschel, the kid.
What
Hey.
is he a kid anymore? He's grown up.
I know, right? It's like the hair is longer, the glasses have changed, it's all different.
Yeah. Absolutely. He's a veteran now.
He's a veteran. So what were you saying? I interrupted you. What were you saying?
I was
Jared?
Caleb, we were just talking about the crazy haul that Cleveland got for this trade. I mean, Jacksonville went up 3 spots, so Cleveland just slides back 3 spots, and they exchanged some later round picks that I'm not going to get into. But basically, the headline was, Cleveland gets Jacksonville's 2nd round pick, which is the 5th overall. So that's, pick like 37 or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And they get Jacksonville's 1st next year, which, I mean, is Jacksonville going to make the playoffs?
No.
Maybe. I don't know.
No.
But that's probably going to be, a top 20 pick.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, Travis Hunter is obviously he's, he was a great college player. Looks like he'll be a great pro. People are calling him like the Shohei Ohtani of football. But man, that's a whole. I don't know. I like that trade for Cleveland.
Yeah, no, I think I'm right with you because Travis Hunter's great, but he's also like, I hate doing this because I'm the kind of person that would have voted for Cooper Kupp for MVP. But if he's not a quarterback, it's not worth it. That's not Travis Hunter's great. He's a great athlete. He's I heard Steve Smith make a really good point where he could be good either at wide receiver or cornerback, but the NFL doesn't do jack of all trades. It does masters of your position. So he's going to end up picking one, meaning you either traded your 1st round pick next year for a lockdown corner or a number 1 wide receiver. And I don't think anybody is going to sit here and say that's a good trade. I'm with you on that.
Yeah. I mean, even if let's say he is an elite cornerback, with where Jacksonville is, which I would say is not like on the cusp of being, a Super Bowl winner, at least from the outside looking in.
3 years away from England. We all know it.
Right. I mean, is it enough to go up to get some guy who's an elite corner potentially, but is he going to be an elite receiver? I don't know. It just feels like Jacksonville doing Jacksonville things.
Mm-hmm.
And now the question is like, who are the Browns then going to take? Now, who they go back to 5?
Yeah.
Nick Chubb, another major knee injury. Do they maybe want to pick up, his successor in Ashton Genty?
They better not.
You want him for the Bears?
I do. I have the Bears trading up to get him.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy. If we do trade up, it's wild.
So the Giants pick is already in. They're not announcing it yet, but I don't know if the Giants picked quickly or with all of the like chaos of the Jacksonville Cleveland trade. If I just didn't see like how much time ran off the clock, So apparently, but anyway, the Giants are not going to trade. I think it would be hilarious if after letting Saquon Barkley go and getting humiliated on Hard Knocks for just openly saying like, yeah, we're not going to we're not going to sign him, if they're just like, yeah, let's draft a good running back. And so then now they just pick Ashton Genty. Supposedly, it sounded like the pick's going to be the defensive end from Penn State, Abdul Carter. But we'll see. I think it'd be really funny if they pick Genty, but
Well, how long do we have to wait?
well, right now we're seeing the Giants draft room. So we've got a wide shot of the crowd. So I'm not sure if I don't see Goodell walking. Oh, yep, here he is. He's walking up.
Oh.
Here we go.
With the third pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the New York Giants select
Abdul Carter. Yep.
Yeah,
Are
Yep.
you kidding me?
no surprise.
No surprise there. So here's where the draft gets a little more interesting because you don't know who the Patriots are going to take. Probably an offensive tackle if they don't trade the pick. But Genty's still out there. So
Stop saying his name. The more you say it, the higher his chance that he doesn't fall to tennis.
Judah, do you have anybody that you're looking for the Packers to take?
No, I haven't really been paying attention, honestly.
I knew you hadn't been. I just didn't want to say that.
I have no idea. Where are the Packers even picking? Where are they picking?
Oh, I don't know. Like
19,
Here's
20.
no, they're
Here's
not.
Carter.
They're in the 20s. They're like mid 20s, I think. I'm gonna guess 24 off the top of my head, and let's see.
I'm not going to make it that long. I'm going to make it through the top 10, and then I got to go.
Packers are at. I was one off. They're at 23.
Okay, there we go.
23.
I was about to say I might try to hop. I'm going to hear this one, and I might try to hop back on for the Bears pick because I gotta finish a project for college. I'm sitting in a video suite right now, editing audio. For a project.
So funny story. So I'm actually in an online master's program.
Oh man, that's awesome.
At University of Alabama, and so I had a project.
Wow.
I have a project that's due tomorrow. I basically finished it up today, so I can kind of just like go back to it late tonight after the draft, and like just basically I just have to kind of proofread through it is about all I need to do. So,
what is the major?
It's one of those that's like an 18-word title, and let me see if I can pull it out of like the recesses of my brain here. So it's like a Master of Arts in advertising and public relations with a concentration in marketing communications management. If that's enough words for you.
Fancy.
Yeah. So. But so this is just I just take one class a semester, and so this is I'm just a couple classes into the program, so I'm like barely like a quarter of the way through it or so. But so I get to cheer for Roll Tide and have good sports.
That's right.
Sports programs. That's really the main thing when you're choosing a school. Is just
especially for your masters,
just pick based
long
on
distance
the sports teams. Yeah. So anyway, that is to say, I feel your pain a little bit on that. Although I kind of like I worked to make sure that I got enough of it done so I could kind of like sit and watch the draft.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, what are we thinking for this next pick?
If the Patriots don't go offensive line, what are we doing?
Right.
Drake May was murdered last year in cold blood for 10 straight weeks.
So are we looking at Will Campbell, maybe?
I think that's the guy who keeps getting mocked to them. Again, it's kind of a tough spot because it feels like there's a drop off from 3 to 4.
Yeah.
I was telling Judah earlier, I feel like if the Raiders really want Ashton Genty, and maybe they don't need to do it now that Cleveland and Jacksonville swapped, because now who knows what Cleveland's going to do now. But if you really want to make sure you get him, I mean, why don't you trade with the Patriots? It makes sense for the Patriots because, no offensive tackles have come off the board. I don't think anyone's really like rated that much higher than any of the others. Raiders could, give them a pick, and they go back 2 spots, like get the Raiders' second round pick or something, if they'd be willing to do that, go back 2 spots, still get your guy probably. And, pick up another pick. So that feels like a deal that just makes a lot of sense to me. So I don't know, but again, it's also the Raiders. And I don't know. I mean, I know they have Pete Carroll now, but is Mark Davis still kind of calling shots there? Or I can't even tell you who's the GM off the top of my head. So, so maybe that makes too much sense for the Raiders to do that. I don't know, but yeah, but I hate to tell you, but I don't think Genty gets past the Raiders because my argument is if you're going to go with Geno Smith as your quarterback, and they traded for him and they extended him, like you need a strong running game. Like you just, if you're up against Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, and Bo Nix just within your division, like Geno Smith, cannot match up against those guys in just a shootout. So, you need a running back. That pick just seems to make all the sense in the world to me. But
yeah, no, I mean, it makes sense. If I was the Raiders, that's exactly what I do because they have so many needs just in their team. You might as well bolster your offense and not make Brock Bowers have to do everything offensively. Like, it makes sense. I get it. I just want Genty to drop to 10 because I'm sorry. I looked at Maurice Jones-Drew's mock, and it does not look interesting to take Amari Hampton at 10. And maybe I'm underrating Tyler Warren some because I didn't watch a lot of Penn State last year. I didn't watch as much of them as I could, but I've seen him getting mocked to Chicago for like last 3 days, and I'm kind of like, yeah. I mean, really? I mean, okay. I'd be cool taking Mykel Williams, bolster the defensive end, but I might just not be giving Tyler Warren enough credit.
My take on Warren, because I've looked at the tight ends a good bit because I would really like for the Broncos to take Colston Loveland. I think Tyler Warren was probably the slightly better college player. But like my take on Loveland, like him and Loveland from the start was that Loveland's probably the better pro. And I felt good about that when I started seeing like pro analysts then saying like, yeah, we think he's the better pro. So they're 2 completely different styles. But I actually
have Loveland going to your Colts.
I think he is. He is. I mean, I think that's like as far as he falls. So,
were you talking about Denver or Colts?
No, I was talking Denver. Yeah, but I think the Colts are as far as he falls. I think Denver would have to trade up to get him. But I've lived in Denver now for going on 3 years, and so I've kind of converted my allegiances. So.
Oh, have you? Okay, that's interesting. So now you're a Denver convertee.
Yeah, I mean, at this point now, I've been to more like Broncos games than Colts games. The Colts are just forever a sideshow circus. And I've just kind of moved on to
I mean, not that Denver isn't a sideshow.
Well, they were up until like last year. I mean, last year they finally kind of got it together. I mean, Sean Payton was in his second year. Bo Nix did well. But for like a decade before that, they didn't have a quarterback, and they never really were serious about addressing the quarterback. So the Patriots picks in. So apparently there's no trade. So
it's been a pretty boring draft so far.
The Jaguars traded up for Travis Hunter. What are you talking about?
Right. You're right.
Yeah,
you're right.
Yeah, the Patriots took Will Campbell. Yeah.
What a shock.
So
this guy looks like a YouTuber.
He does kind of look like a YouTuber.
So he looks like one of us, is what you're saying.
He does. He could easily be my son.
It's actually Will Campbell - McNeil is actually what it is.
Yeah, he just that is interesting.
Goofy looking dude. Oh mercy.
Yeah. Now he does look especially goofy because like the little like promo they did, they've got him like pointing to his name, and yeah, that was awkward. It
I don't know.
reminds
If it's me, I don't want. Well, of course, actually, when you look back, some of the best O linemen have been goofy. I mean, Kelsey, a lot of these guys.
That's
You
true.
know,
That's true. That's kind of true. Yeah.
You're not wrong. Andrew Whitworth, don't forget about him either.
yeah, Whitworth. Yeah, I mean, a lot. I'm thinking of a couple of the Eagles guys. They're goofy.
Lane Johnson, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this one's going to be the first pick where I think we don't really know now what's going to happen because
Okay.
everyone pretty much expected, and we didn't expect the Cleveland Jacksonville trade, but we expected it to be Ward, Hunter,
Yeah.
Carter, Campbell. And now with, Cleveland moving back, I mean, this was the pick that people were kind of expecting. Genty, I mean, could be still. I don't know, or does somebody try to trade up? I think that's maybe a possibility.
I'm kind of curious to see.
Sanders. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, well, I'm curious. As I was about to say is see where Sanders goes or how far he falls. There are a lot of people talking about he's not the player everybody or where the media props him up to be, or that his father certainly props him up.
Yeah, that's what I started to say. It's like the guy that is, his dad retiring his jersey after, basically like a 500 record for
Ridiculous.
2 years.
No bowl wins.
No. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, who's your guess? Let's all put it a guess.
Gosh, I got to go back to the mock draft here. Well, so apparently they didn't trade because they're all shaking hands.
Oh,
So they
boy.
made the pick. So I got to go back to my mock draft or a mock draft here just to kind of see who.
Who's picking?
It's Cleveland.
Fourth?
So
Oh yeah, that's right.
Fifth.
Fifth. Yeah.
yeah. Man,
I'm going Genty.
Really?
I'm going Genty.
I mean, it would make some sense.
Mm-hmm.
It would make some sense, but I don't know. I mean, do they need a
Mason Graham, Michigan, maybe. I mean, Myles Garrett was one to leave. They're like, hey, here's this new defensive tackle to make your life easier.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you've got some offensive tackles that are options. Man, I don't know.
Well, I will be back so I can finish this project. Now,
Make it. What was your pick, real quick? What was your guess?
Okay, 10. Bears are, for this one, I'm saying it's Mason. I'm gonna go Mason. That's what I'm gonna say.
Mason. Okay.
Graham.
Yep.
All right. Thanks for joining us, brother. Good to see you again.
It's
Good to see you.
both.
Maybe see you later.
Hopefully you join us again. Yeah.
Oh
We'll see you
yeah.
later.
Jared, respond to my LinkedIn request.
Oh yeah. I haven't been on there, and you must have just sent it. Is that-
In 10 years.
I'll see you guys in a little bit. Good to see you both.
Good to see you.
See you. Yeah. So who's your pick? He says Mason Graham. I say Genty. Do you think they would go with a quarterback?
No, I don't think they would go with a quarterback. That would be a shocker. I would be fine with it because push some
They
of those
need
other,
one.
They need one, and push some of those other players down the board. I mean, I don't know if they need a.
I mean, they're going with who is it? Oh, Pickett or Pickens or whatever.
They have their quarterback room is like Kenny Pickett, Deshaun
Pickett,
Watson, and Joe Flacco. So, I mean, you've got lots of quarterbacks and no good quarterback.
Do you think Deshaun Watson will play again? Like start again? Do you think Deshaun Watson will start again?
Probably for like a game or two. All right, here it is.
Okay.
I'll guess Genty just to. I don't know if that's really going to be a
Okay.
pick. Mason Graham. Okay.
Oh, he was right.
He was. Yeah, I kind of thought he might be right. I was just going to like try to make a bold pick there. I think it also
So
kind of
yeah,
sucks for Denver if Genty ends up going to the Raiders, but
yeah.
because then you got to play him twice a year. So
Now, is Genty really that good though?
I mean, I think he is, but I think it's just the question of what we were talking about earlier is like all of a sudden, did we go back to valuing running backs to the point of thinking like, oh, we've got to take them like, 6th pick overall.
Yeah.
Because, the trend of the NFL has been, to just go away from that. Almost no matter how good you are. I mean, we had like Jahmyr Gibbs a couple years ago, I think, a few years ago. And I mean, other than that, I just can't think of off the top of my head many running backs that have gone top 10 in several years.
Well, I mean, since what's his name? Who's the
Saquon?
Elliott? Since Elliott, I guess, yeah. And then Saquon, and then Swift and Taylor. They both went in the first round.
Taylor was pretty high. Yeah, I think Taylor might have even been like 6 or something. I think Swift was later. Let's see. I want to say Swift was like, I don't even know if Swift was first round. Maybe he was late first round.
Yeah, they might not have been first round. I just remember them being a big deal that year, like in the draft.
Yeah, so Swift was taken with the 35th pick, so he was early, second round. I think Jonathan Taylor was top 10. Let's see. No, my mistake. Jonathan Taylor was 41st, so he was second round too.
Wow.
So there just have not been like Jahmyr Gibbs was, I think, like 6 or 8, somewhere in there, top 10. There just have not been a lot of guys in a while. So this would really like break that trend. And again, like if you see a bunch of this, like, I mean, Genty, okay, I'll throw an exception out for him maybe, but especially if you see like Omari and Hampton going at 12 or something like that. I mean, all it's going to do is just prove what a copycat league this is. And people just like, oh, we got to take running backs again. So, yeah. And the other thing too is like, I mean, running backs today now, a lot of skill positions now, just end up with so many leg injuries because tacklers are taught to, tackle lower, not have the blows to the head. And so you have guys like Christian McCaffrey just missing the bulk of seasons.
Well, and I think the biggest argument against it is people like Taylor and Swift who come in and are better than any first round draft pick, and you got them for such a cheap price.
Yeah. That's fair.
I mean, even someone like what's his name, J.K. Dobbins, when he went in like the second round, he ended up being pretty valuable. Just 2 teams. If he hadn't gotten hurt, I guess.
Right.
Even Cam, what was his name? Cam is with the he's with the Bolts. Cam, he came in during the playoffs and did really well. Can't think of his name.
Are you talking about the Rams, Cam Akers?
Oh, was it Rams? Yeah, Cam Akers.
Yeah, he was with the but so the Raiders picks in. Yeah, I'd be surprised if this is not Genty.
Really?
Yeah. I think Caleb's gonna have his hopes crushed here, but Akers, he's with Minnesota as a backup. Like he was never though that viewed as that great.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
Here we go. Let's see.
With the 6th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Las Vegas Raiders select Ashton Genty.
Yeah, Genty. Nope, not Travis
Not
Hunter.
Hunter. Which one is Genty?
If he's in a Boise State uniform, that's him.
Maybe I didn't get him. Do. Well, there you go.
Yeah, nobody really thought he was going to get past the Raiders. And I'm curious if Jacksonville had stayed there, if they would have potentially taken him. But he's so funny. Like, he's 5'8.5". He's just not tall at all. And I think that's part of what makes him like difficult to tackle is he's got such a low center of gravity, you know?
Well, it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah.
So that's a good segue to talk about fantasy football. Who are we seeing? I mean, it seems like Genty would be somebody that would be worth, obviously not somebody who's going to go first round or anything, but I think somebody might look at picking up. Yeah,
I think he might go first round. If you look at
Genty,
yeah, I mean, if you look at like what some of these younger players have done, I mean, I think it's going to be like a Bijan Robinson, where he was just automatically a first rounder, then was kind of not exactly a fantasy bust, but pretty close to a fantasy bust his first year. And then,
well, that was my second question. Would you take Genty first round? I wouldn't.
I would, because I think, I mean, you look at like Pete Carroll and the offense they ran in Seattle, and, you know, just relying on guys like Marshawn Lynch or, you know, those two backs that they have now that kind of don't exactly split the time, but, you know, it's just going to have to be a run heavy offense, I think. Yeah, I would. And the problem with a guy like Bijan Robinson was just
he's on a crappy team.
Well, and not even just on a crappy team, but he had Arthur Smith as his offensive coordinator, and Arthur Smith is just a weird dude. And he makes some weird decisions when it comes to platoons or committees, you know, and so he was like platooning him with Tyler Algier, you know. So that's not going to be the same situation in Las Vegas. So, yeah, I think Genty, if he's not a first round pick, is like an early second round pick in fantasy.
So they don't even, Chubb isn't even on the roster anymore. So
right.
I guess if Jerome Ford and like someone like Pierre Strong or somebody would be the only contenders for any kind of share, you know, sharing the time, sharing snaps
in Cleveland. Yeah. In Cleveland. But yeah, I mean, if you look at the Raiders roster, you know, who else?
Oh, I'm sorry. Who took Genty? Raiders?
Is the Raiders. Yep.
Oh, I was thinking.
I was just going to subtly. I was not going to point out. I was just going to subtly, you know, like a good,
thank you,
like a good color
very
commentator,
gracious.
just sort of like subtly correct it rather than just, you know, be overt about it. But,
you are gracious.
So yeah, so with the Raiders, you know, there's really nobody. I mean, they tried so many running backs last year.
Raheem Mostert.
It got to the point where, you know, oh gosh,
Zamir White.
Who was the guy that they? I can't remember who was the guy that they had that was like a undrafted guy. He had an unusual name towards the end of the year. Let's see if I can look up his. Sincere McCormick. That's who it was.
Sincere McCormick.
Yeah. So, you know, they tried him for a while last year, so he has no competition there whatsoever. And so,
yeah, they did pick up Raheem Mostert, but Yeah, I mean, I think we saw last year how played out his career is. So
Yeah.
this is probably a really good pick for them. And I think you're right. I think this would be who's their quarterback though? Geno Smith? Oh, okay.
Geno, yeah, yeah.
I don't know. It could be a good team. That's actually a pretty good roster with
It's
Brock Bowers.
yeah.
Who's
Brock
their?
Bowers makes a
They don't
big
have a
difference.
real good Jacoby Myers. Their
No,
wide receiver.
they're kind of weak at receiver, but again, if you make it a like a focus on the running game, if you
Mm-hmm.
um, you throw into Bowers, then you don't have to have the best receivers. So the AFC West is going to be like the NFC North, where you've got like Vikings are great, Lions are great, Packers are very good, Bears potentially take a huge leap this year with Ben Johnson coming over from the Lions.
Yeah.
And then you look at the AFC West, you've got, Kansas City going to the Super Bowl every year. You've got Harbaugh now coaching the Chargers and Justin Herbert. You've got Sean Payton and Bo Nix and them making the playoffs last year. Great defense. And then you add in Pete Carroll and, going to the Raiders, Geno Smith, Ashton Genty, Brock Bowers in year two. Like, it is just a stacked division. So,
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
Interesting.
I was looking up. Yeah, I'm looking up the way too early fantasy football rankings for 2025, just to kind of see like, okay, where would I slot in Genty? And so you've got the top 10 are Jamar Chase, Saquon Barkley, Bijan Robinson, Justin Jefferson, Jahmyr Gibbs, CeeDee Lamb, Puka Nacua, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Nico Collins, Brian Thomas, Derrick Henry at 11, Malik Neighbors, Jonathan Taylor, Josh Jacobs. I mean, to me, yeah, Genty is, I mean, I don't know. The more I look at this, like, I could see somebody taking him like
first overall.
not probably, well, somebody would take him first overall, I'm sure, but like I could see him like pretty probably consistently going maybe like as high as like 4 or 5. Here's the Jets pick. They've been mocked to Tyler Warren a lot. Okay, they took an offensive tackle out of Missouri, which I like because I would like for some of these skill guys to get pushed down the board, because the Colts could really use a tight end or a running back, and so I'm not at all sad to see some of these guys get pushed down. Yeah, no, I could very easily see Genty like maybe sliding in at like pretty consistently about 5 maybe, because if you think of like Jahmyr Gibbs right now is 5 in Yahoo's consensus mock draft, and Jahmyr Gibbs is great, but he splits carries with David Montgomery. So
Yeah,
you can, whether it's right or wrong, you can have someone say like, oh, maybe, Genty as a workhorse then is even more valuable. Now, that's probably.
I'm doing a mock draft right now, and I've got they picked Barkley first, Chase second, Bijan Robinson third, Jefferson fourth, and Gibbs fifth. To your point,
Yeah. So, I mean, I can see him going in somewhere around there because, I mean, you start looking at guys. So, you go down a couple picks, CeeDee Lamb, last year,
that's I'm up at 6, and they're suggesting I pick CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah. So,
or Puka Nacua.
Right. And so like Lamb, he did not have the best year last year.
I'm taking Nacua.
Puka, great, but he plays a very physical style, and I think it's going to be prone to injuries. So
that's true.
I think Genty ends up like sliding in.
This is crazy. Genty went 7th.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
You're right on the money.
yeah. No, I think
How do they already have them? They already have them in the simulator. That's pretty cool.
what website's that for?
I use Draft Simulator with draftwizard.fantasypros.com.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think he'll even go up like probably, yeah, I think like I can very easily see him like going sixth, and some people are going to take him, I think, a spot or two higher than that. So yeah,
That's interesting. What about Henry? Do you think Henry falls to the second round this year? Or I guess he was second round last year too.
yeah, I think he probably does. I mean, there's always like that age concern of like what's going to be the year where he
Falls off.
falls off, and so now we're going into he's he's 31, so that's still not it's still not that bad. I mean, and he had one of the best, basically like his second best career year. So I don't know. I mean, I would probably feel better about taking him than I would, a couple of guys going before him. But
Well, it went Henry, Equinemius St. Brown, right? Is that his name? Brian Thomas, Nico Collins, Neighbors. I think I'd take Neighbors a lot higher than a lot of these guys.
Neighbors, I mean, he was just electric last year. I think where's he? Yeah, he's oddly enough, yeah, he's ranked 12th. And I think that's entirely probably related to quarterback play. But I mean, Russell Wilson likes to throw deep balls. Jameis Winston will just sling it all day. So, I mean, he has bad quarterbacks, but he has guys that are not afraid to throw it. And you're probably going to be, I don't know how much Abdul Carter is going to help that defense. They're probably going to be in some shootouts. So I agree with you on that. I think I like Neighbors better than where he's kind of being mocked overall, like at his position.
Who would you take, Genty or Neighbors?
I mean, I would probably, I mean, I don't know that I would, that's kind of tough.
I think I'd take Neighbors.
It's tough.
If I'm at the
bottom
of the round, I'd take. You might. I mean, if he is still slated though to go 12th, you might as well take Genty and then hope to get Neighbors on the way back, on the turn.
Yeah, if you're doing a snake draft, I mean, I've gotten to the point where I do salary cap drafts almost.
That's right. Yeah.
Exclusively, because I just like being able to build, a team like certain ways. And I mean, you can get essentially like three first round or high second round guys and kind of build around that. And so I think, and the Panthers pick is in. Panthers, I'm guessing, are going defense.
I hope so.
But maybe they decide they need another weapon.
O-line? They might go O-line.
Might go O-line. Maybe they decide they need another weapon for Bryce Young. Another
first round, the first pick bust.
Yeah. Well, he got better last year after he got benched. I don't think he's ever going to be. That's another guy who number one overall. Like he's never going to live up to that. I don't think. The big wide receiver out of Arizona was mocked to them a bunch. McMillan, Tet McMillan. But I could see him going tight end. Again, I still just want these skill guys to get pushed down. But here's the pick.
Maybe a tight end, yeah.
Yeah, McMillan.
Good call.
Yeah, there were a lot of rumors about him sliding. But I think that makes a lot of sense for them. I mean, they had, they got like a little bit of a revival out of Adam Thielen last year. they had drafted Xavier Leggett, however you say his name, the year before. But I mean, they just need like a primary target for Young. So I think that makes sense. I don't know what the Saints are going to do here. And now maybe we're getting into a
bunch of defensive players.
Well, I don't know. I think the tight ends.
Oh yeah, tight ends.
Yeah, tight ends potentially. I mean, the weird thing with the Saints, the Saints, their quarterback situation is a mess. Feels like the Saints need a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Like they could use a tight end.
Yeah, well,
they could use a running. Oh, the Saints already picked. So
did you hear that? What's his name? Carr is injured. Might be injured for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
Some kind of shoulder thing or back thing or something.
Yeah. So apparently, I guess the Saints kind of knew who they wanted. It doesn't look like they. It's kind of hard to tell with how long some of these teams are on the clock because we're seeing, other coverage, and then we're not seeing, or at least on my screen or channel I'm watching, it's not really showing like, how long they've been on the clock. But yeah, I don't know. I think the Saints could go a bunch of different ways here. Story has rejoined me.
Hey, little Story. Where is Kylo?
Kylo's around. He's just not up here.
They get along pretty good?
They do. Yeah. Yeah, Story likes to look at herself on the screen, so she sees herself. She's a very vain little dog. But very sweet. Yeah, I'm going to be really interested to see what the Saints and Bears do here because, they could go. Both of them, they've been talked about going with a tight end. I think for the Bears especially, that would just have to be like drafting the best player available because, you look at, it feels like the Bears just have more needs than, like a tight end. But look at
not than the Saints. The Saints have like a decimated team.
They do. But what I mean with the Bears is it feels like they have. You look at they got DJ Moore. They drafted Roma Dunze last year. Keenan Allen's probably. I think he's walking. I don't think they're re-signing him. But they got Cole Kmet at tight end, who's a very solid to above average tight end. It just feels like, offensive line or defense is probably their biggest spots of need. But, maybe they say, look, some guy like Warren or Loveland's just the best on our board and we take him. I don't know.
Would you see them going offensive line?
Yeah, I'm saying I think that makes sense for them. I know they made some free agency.
Oh, is that Loveland? Is Loveland an offensive line?
No, he's a tight end.
Oh, tight end. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
So I've got Kelvin Banks Jr. Going to them. Going to the Bears. Offensive line.
Offensive tackle. Yeah. I think that makes sense. I just don't know. I don't know.
Who's their running back? Who do they have?
So DeAndre Swift's their running back.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
This just feels like too early for somebody like Omari and Hampton. They need a better running back. Swift was just. Again, it's hard to tell like what was the offensive line and what was DeAndre Swift. But he just did nothing last year. So
yeah,
they could use a running back, but I don't know.
Omari and Hampton is the next one you'd go for.
So he's been pretty consistently put as the second running back off the board, and I would agree with that, mainly because next you kind of have those Ohio State running backs. Judkins and I think Henderson's the other one.
Heard of Williams mentioned, but he's later on in the draft, much later.
Yeah,
Somebody was saying like some
here we
running
go.
back Williams.
Here's
Okay, who do
the
we got?
Saints pick.
This will be crazy.
NFL draft. The New Orleans Saints select Kelvin Banks.
Thanks.
Jr., tackle.
So interesting.
So who's that leave for the Bears?
Yeah, I mean the Bears may go tight end. Or I mean,
Yeah.
again, I hope not. If you could get through the Bears pick with no skill players off the board, I think, or well, not skill players, but
Oh,
basically with Genty being the only guy, because everybody knew Travis Hunter was going early. But with Genty kind of being the only guy, then yeah, I don't know what the Bears do here.
are we looking at Matthew Golden as the next wide receiver?
Golden is kind of looked at as the
Maybe
next
a
wide
sleeper
receiver. Yeah. Oh, Bears picks in.
I think it's going to be some kind of O-line or defensive man.
I'm afraid it's going to be. I think I'm afraid this one may be the Loveland pick. I could see it being Colston
really?
Loveland. But I don't know. I mean, maybe they go line. I'm not supremely confident in that. I think it's more likely that they grab a tight end, but it feels more like 60-40 for me or something. So I'm not like super confident about that. And I hope they don't. I hope you're right.
How good is Loveland? I mean, is he pretty
think
highly touted?
Yeah, he's really good at separation, good hands, very fluid. I'd be really happy if the Broncos got him.
It's somebody you could kind of like shore up your offensive line with, but still work on your receiving core with.
Yes and no. I mean, it's not so much that, like, he's not the best blocker. I mean, Tyler Warren is like kind of the bigger, like more physical, I think, blocker. But Loveland is more of he's not Brock Bowers exactly, but he's kind of in that.
Kind of like that.
He's not that fast, but if like he fell another pick or two and the Broncos traded up to get him, like depending on what they gave up, I would not be upset about that at all.
Broncos are picking 20th.
They're at 20, and that's pretty far to go up. So I don't think they're going to do that.
What are they doing for running back? They going to stick with Williams?
No, Javonte Williams went to Dallas. So
who do they have running back by?
No one, essentially. So I mean, they have Audric Estime that was like a 5th round pick out of Notre Dame. They have the little I'm forgetting their little running back's name off the top of my head. I should know this.
Yeah, he was kind of a flash in the pan last year.
Yeah, I mean they used him really. It was Jaleel McLaughlin. So he was there. He ended up getting a lot of the carries last year because Javonte Williams did next to nothing. Audric Estime had fumbling issues. So they have to draft a running back, not with this pick, but they need to either draft one. They need to draft one within the first 3 rounds, essentially. So a lot of people have mocked Omari and Hampton to them. And I think that's entirely possible. But I know from what I've read, like Sean Payton loves Colston Loveland. It wouldn't shock me to see them try to trade up to like 11 or 12 to get him if the Bears don't take him here. But we'll see. San Francisco, who follows the Bears here, has been said to be one of those teams that wants to trade back. But again, it's still a pretty high. I mean, to go up from 20 to 11, you probably got to give up your second round pick. And
Yeah, and at this point, it doesn't seem like there's anybody that's like, yay, we're gonna get that guy. It's like there's nobody
yeah,
that seems to shine here. Maybe unless you really want like a wide receiver, or like you said, a tight end. If the tight end doesn't go here,
here's Goodell. Well, he's got an announcement first. Oh, well, actually, this is about Steve McMichael's death.
oh,
He died of ALS.
yeah, the Ice Bucket Challenge is coming back.
Mm.
You seen that? Like a lot of people have been doing that lately.
I hadn't seen that.
His legacy will continue to inspire generations to come. 50 years ago,
Chuba Hubbard, how do you think he's going to do fantasy wise this year? That's kind of a question mark for me.
Oh, here we go. Here's the pick.
Oh, okay. Put a pin in that.
Closest friends.
Oh, wait.
Running back, Jackson State.
Sorry. Walter Payton's actually going to come make the pick.
Oh,
Or no. Sorry.
17,000 yards
No, he.
and 110 touchdowns over
I can't remember if Payton died. I guess he.
yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah. Sorry, I got.
I can't remember either.
earlier, the NFL continues to honor sweetness,
Yeah.
performance, and excellence on the field, but also his
Yeah, that's what you get for trying to do two things at one time. I'm like, wait a minute. No, I think he died.
Walter Payton
And
died,
just
yeah,
hearing part of
1999.
hearing part of the audio, I'm like, wait a minute. So Walter Payton's, yeah. Here we go. Here's the page. Here we go.
Talk about a surprise.
Yeah, Colston Loveland.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
But I'm happy for AJ Herschel, the
Yeah.
kid.
yeah,
I think that's
a good pick.
that'll
for
help them.
Yeah,
Help their offense, especially if they're losing big. Who'd you say they were losing? Went to free agency. The old Bolts guy.
what now?
That wide receiver that is kind of a veteran old guy. You said
Keenan Allen. Yeah.
Keenan Allen. Yeah, I think he'd be a good replacement as far as that short, tall guy. Short. I'm sorry, not short and tall, but catching short passes. To a tall guy. I think he'd be good. Of course, Keenan Allen was much more. He caught a lot more wide balls, but
Yeah,
I think it will help. I think it'll help. Who do they have? They have DJ.
so I have DJ
Moore.
Moore, and they drafted Roma Dunze as
Roman
the
Dunze, yeah,
ninth pick,
last
I
year.
think. Yeah, so they've got weapons for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, now I'm going to be curious to see where Tyler Warren goes. I mean, I think he probably goes to the Colts at 14. I don't know if anybody else is going to want him that high, but yeah, I'll be curious if Warren didn't go to the Colts, like how far he might fall, or if the Broncos might want him. He's just such a different player from Loveland.
Yeah, it's interesting. In this mock draft, I have him going to the Jets at 7. So he was more highly touted in some ways, I guess. Than,
People initially had that going that way, but I think Loveland is just viewed as the better pro. He's got a lot of people at his draft party.
Oh wow. So next up, you're saying that San Francisco might trade. There really hasn't been that many trades.
There hadn't. I mean, we had the big one at the start, but now, I mean, with Loveland off the board, I don't know that. I thought they might, but they've already made their pick, and I don't know that there's anybody that you really say like, oh, we got to now. Like Loveland to me was like maybe kind of the last guy that you say let's go up and get him.
Mhm.
I don't think you do that with Tyler Warren. I don't think you do that with Amari and Hampton. I think you just kind of wait and see if those guys fall to you, but I don't know. We'll see. It does seem to be, I don't know. It feels like it's flowing relatively fast. Maybe it's not really going any faster than usual. I mean, we're 10 picks in over an hour or so, so maybe it's not,
Yeah,
but
I think
somehow,
right at an hour, and I think that is quicker than last year,
yeah, maybe it feels like it's going faster
or
somehow.
or the last time we did this. I don't know when the last time we did this was.
Right. Yeah. I don't remember. I don't remember. It feels like it's dragged more before.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go pretty soon. Feel free to stay in here if you want and talk about the picks.
Yeah. I don't know if Caleb was going to be coming back soon, I would probably hang around, but
Let me
I think
see
we ought
what
to.
he's doing.
I think we ought to do it through the Cowboys pick at least.
Okay,
They're up next after San Francisco. Cowboys are always interesting to see what they do.
let's go. Let's go. I'm curious to see Dolphins too. I guess.
Well,
Actually,
if we go Dolphins, we got to see the Colts then. So
yeah, I was gonna say we might as well stick out to the Colts. I don't know. We'll see how far long it goes. I should not be here this late, but
yeah, I forget. It's so nice being on Mountain Time now because it's 7:20 my time.
mm,
So
oh yeah,
yeah, it's pretty nice. Um, yeah, Mountain Time's pretty great.
it's still light out there. Oh yeah, in
Yeah,
the right behind you that window, it's nice and bright.
yeah. Well, part of that's a lamp. But it is still light here. It's actually kind of cloudy.
Mm,
Otherwise, you would have a lot more light pouring through here.
hmm
But yeah, let's see.
I don't know if they drag on like this though. I don't know. But yeah, I was gonna text AJ Herschel, the kid.
Welcome back to Green Bay. The San Francisco 49ers on the clock at number 11. You're looking at a picture of Shador Sanders.
I'm going to be really curious to see where Shador goes. I don't see him going before, like maybe somebody trades with the Broncos to get their pick at 20 or something. But
Oh yeah, is he? He's a quarterback, right?
yeah, although I would laugh so hard. I think it'd be great if the Cowboys picked him. Like the Cowboys just do something crazy and pick Shador Sanders 12. Or like I don't think Brock Purdy's like they still haven't. Let's see what Adam Schefter's saying.
They haven't paid Brock yet, have they?
Yeah, Adam Schefter's talking about Shador potentially slipping out of the first round.
Yeah.
Now we're
I
getting
mean,
into,
I think he would be a valuable. I think he'd be a valuable pickup in the second round for that price. It'd be a nice backup.
yeah.
Who knows? It could be a great somebody you train up, somebody you get under a veteran quarterback to train him up.
Yeah, I thought he looked pretty good on tape. I think people are scared away by his attitude and entitlement. I think people are probably scared away by the idea of having anytime you lose a game, Dion coming out in the media and saying that the coach needs to be fired because he can't coach. So, yeah, that's
and
okay. Here we go. Here's San
nope.
Francisco's
Okay,
pick.
who do we got?
Thank you to our men and women who serve in the United States military for your sacrifices to defend our country's freedom.
guessing defense.
The San Francisco 49ers select Michael
Yeah,
Michael Williams.
Michael
That's
Williams.
who I have slated.
defensive end. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think now for the Broncos, I hope they. I would like to. Gosh, I don't know. So
You're still thinking Tyler Warren, right?
I don't think Tyler Warren gets there, and I'm not even. I don't even know how
That
I feel.
excited about him.
Well, he's just so different. Like he's a great college player. I don't know about his skill set to the pros. Maybe still great, but at 20, I think I would be good with Tyler Warren. Derek Harmon, the defensive tackle out of Oregon, has gotten a lot of praise. That would make some sense if he, but I figure he's probably going to go before then. It may be Omarion Hampton, who's the guy who's been constantly mocked to the Broncos. Because after that, it's like, you got Matthew Golden, the receiver. The Broncos like Sean Payton likes big receivers.
Is Golden not big?
He's not. He's 5'11". He's a burner.
Oh, yeah.
So he ran but he ran a sub 4.3 40 at the combine. So
not much of a burner.
Oh no, sub 4.3. I mean, like nobody.
Oh, sub 4.3. Oh, okay. Yeah, that is fast. That is fast.
No, like almost no one runs a sub 4.3. So
okay.
Yeah.
Would you put him up there with like Cheetah?
I mean, that's getting up there as Tyreek Hill speed. Now, part of I think what makes Tyreek Hill different is like Tyreek Hill is built stout, even though he's even though he's fast, I mean, he's not like spindly or anything, and
right. He's pretty durable.
Yeah. Pretty durable. So I don't know how I would feel about that, but yeah, I mean, if it may just be Hampton by default at the Broncos pick. I don't know because it's hard for me to see. Oh, the Cowboys pick is in. Oh, this one I am eager to see. Story, come here. Yeah, the Cowboys are always a good time to see what in the world. Oh, here it is. Here it is already. It could be Hampton. They've talked about them getting Hampton. Tyler Booker, guard. Okay. Wow.
That with the O-line, huh?
That seems like entirely too sensible of a pick for.
Yeah.
But I will say, like, I'm looking to see where he is on Mel Kiper's like list of best available, and man, I don't even see him anywhere on here. So
I've got him going 28th to Detroit Lions. Tyler Booker, right? Is that who we're talking about?
Yeah, and that's another one of those things that the Cowboys will do is that they will take someone like way high, like because Jerry Jones thinks he's smarter than everyone else, and so they'll take a guy that might go 15 picks later at their spot.
They could have gotten him later.
Yeah. So
when's their next pick?
I mean, their next pick won't be till probably like 12 of the second round, but
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you might have been better off like just trading back into the second or trading back into the first round with your second rounder in order to get him,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Miami could go some different ways here. I mean, they could go tight end. It wouldn't shock me. I mean, some people had Warren mocked to them. A lot of people had Warren mocked to the Colts. But if he gets past them, it's going to be a little more interesting because the Falcons and the Cardinals aren't taking him. I don't think the Bengals are using a pick on. I mean, the Bengals need defense. Maybe Seattle. But if Warren gets that past the next couple, I mean, he could potentially be there for the Colts. And I don't know how I would feel about that. Not that they consulted me, but
They should.
They
really
should. They should. Yeah. I mean, I did root for them to get Bo Nix last year.
There you
And
go.
that worked out pretty well. Yeah, so I guess this guy was out of I guess out of Alabama. Yeah,
Yeah.
out of my Crimson Tide.
That's right. You're Crimson Tide.
Sad that I wasn't around for the Nick Saban years. So
Oh, yeah.
Dolphins are taking a little time.
This is interesting. I have Sanders going to the Steelers. I think of all the teams, I think that would probably be the best spot for him. Who do they have as quarterback?
No one. They are waiting to see what your boy Aaron Rodgers decides to do.
Yeah, that's right.
And there is not a more enigmatic man potentially on the planet than Aaron Rodgers. So they're
True
waiting to
that.
see. So right now they have Mason Rudolph. They brought Mason Rudolph back. So you probably don't want to roll with Mason Rudolph. I mean, they're literally, their options are either like Mason Rudolph, maybe wait on Aaron Rodgers, maybe trade for Kirk Cousins, or draft a quarterback here. And I think they have.
But don't you think that that Mike Tomlin would be probably the only coach that would really work with Prime's son?
I mean, I don't know if any coach can make that relationship work, but
I just think of him as like always being kind of like a pushover, like doing whatever the players wanted to.
I mean, I don't know. It's hard to say. I mean, they've definitely had big personalities there. They had Antonio Brown. So I mean, he's used to that, but I mean, also it feels like the clock's running out on Mike Tomlin. Like, I mean, it's just a lot of years of, I mean, they keep making the playoffs, but then they do nothing. So I don't know. That just feels like a weird culture fit. Like, blue collar, Dolphins picks in. It just feels like, blue collar Pittsburgh trying to match that up with Shedeur Sanders. I don't know. I don't know exactly what would be the best fit for him.
I don't think the team's ever had any blue collar. Maybe Muth or whatever his name is, but not really a blue collar team.
But I mean, even if Pittsburgh, come on, no. I mean, Pittsburgh's just the whole like ground and pound. Guys like Hines Ward. Guys like Hines Ward who aren't really flashy. Now, I mean, some of that identity's kind of changing. They brought in Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson is not blue collar at all. They traded for DK Metcalf. They have George Pickens. Both of them are sort of divas. So that, is not necessarily just true of them anymore. But your quarterback position, I don't know. That'd be an interesting fit.
Who is Deontay? Who's the guy? Deontay. He was a diva too. What was his name? Deontay Johnson or something like that.
Deontay Johnson, yeah.
He was there. Juju Smith-Schuster, didn't he get a start there too? Also a diva.
He did. Yep. Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. They've ended up. But I mean, the identity. I mean, but the city's a very blue collar city. In
Pittsburgh, yeah.
In terms of like their offensive identity, I mean, none of those guys have ever been. I mean, Antonio before he went crazy was elite, but it's always been like a running attack, and like
Bell, Le'Veon Bell, yeah,
yeah. It's always been like Bettis, Le'Veon Bell. Then they drafted Najee Harris, and so they've had some offensive divas, but like as far as like the offensive identity of the team has kind of fit with that whole like run the ball, play defense, sort of culture.
Old school football.
Yeah, old school football, which I'm not. Yeah, I think they probably. I mean, they should move away from that, but I don't know. And a lot of people have said that even if they do take a quarterback in the first round, it won't be Shador. Like it might be like Jackson Dart, excuse me, out of Ole Miss, or Tyler Show.
Oh yeah, Jackson Dart hasn't been taken yet, has he?
No, and he was, I think, kind of being looked at as like a somewhere in the 20s sort of pick. So yeah, so I don't think we're going to see. I think 20. I think 20 is the highest that any of these quarterbacks would go. I would be surprised if anybody decided to jump up into the teens to take them. And there may not be another one that goes in the first round. They may all fall out of the first round.
Yeah.
Seems like when there's debate about someone, it's more likely for them to drop farther than you expect than for them to go higher than you expect. And here's
wouldn't that be because if you start to smell any blood in the water, everybody's
Goodell.
like, okay. Who?
Kenneth Grant, defensive tackle out of Michigan.
Boring.
Yeah, boring, but yeah, this one's going to be an interesting pick now for the Colts because do they like Tyler Warren enough to take him?
I think they go Tyler Warren.
Probably.
What I mean, what else did they do? They go defense? They're kind of another team that needs everything.
They need
maybe not running back.
Well, they could use a receiver. Do you? Oh, the Colts picks in. Yeah, I mean, they need some different things. I mean, it feels like the Colts just perpetually need secondary help. Like it feels like they constantly just don't have cornerbacks to guard people. And that may not actually, like I did not watch them that closely last year, so that may not be true. But I mean, you think about like
lucky for you,
they don't have enough weapons. They could use another receiver. They could use a tight end. They lost a couple of offensive linemen in the offseason, I think. Defense. I mean, it really does feel like the Colts are just always one of those teams that like they just, we could use everything, So I don't know. I don't know if Tyler Warren's really the best pick for them there. Maybe he is, but it won't shock me if they go another direction. And I kind of want them to pass on him because I think it makes it more interesting because then I'm not sure where does he go? Does he maybe go to Seattle? Does he maybe go to Denver? I'm not sure. But if they take him, then it's like, well, that was always kind of the thing that people expected. People expected to either be him or Loveland. Yeah, like all of kind of the next set of guys, it's a lot of cornerback, a couple of defensive tackles,
linebackers,
a couple of linebackers. Yeah, it's a lot of defense.
Omarion Hampton is really well. I guess Golden and Omarion Hampton would be the only sort of interesting. Where do they go? And of course, maybe Sanders, where he goes, somebody might take a flyer on him.
Yeah.
But like I was saying, I think anytime you start seeing blood in the water, like these coaches are probably like, nobody's going to take him,
Yeah.
Like as soon as there's anything, just let him fall. Just let him fall.
Here we go.
We'll get him later.
Here's the pick.
All right, who do we got?
Tyler Warren.
Yeah.
It was going to be a lot more interesting if they didn't pick him, but I'm not really sad because I would have. I just don't know.
You didn't want him to fall to Denver.
No, not really, because I just don't know that he's that great of like he can do a lot of things, but it's not. I don't think he's really like Sean Payton's guy exactly. So
Nah, Loveland would have been more of that like
Yeah,
what was his name? Who was that big tall red haired guy?
oh, Jimmy Graham.
Jimmy Graham. Yeah, he would have been
Yeah.
more of a Jimmy Graham type. Yeah.
Yeah, 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 and I don't even think it's out of the realm of possibility that it would be high for him, and I think it'd make more sense if the Colts or sorry, I'm watching the Colts pick here. I think it'd make more sense if the Broncos traded back potentially, but another guy who is well thought of is Mason Taylor, the tight end out of LSU.
Hmm.
He is the son of Jason Taylor. You remember the old Dolphins defensive end? So Jason
Mhm.
Taylor was just like I'm pretty sure he's in the Hall of Fame. So, yeah, so Jason Taylor was this, elite defensive end for the Dolphins. And then I think he married Zach Thomas's sister. Zach Thomas was his teammate and another like elite linebacker. And so anyway, his kid was, I think
He has the pedigree.
he has the pedigree, yeah, and I think he set the record for LSU record for receptions. I think last year, he caught a lot of balls. I've looked at a lot of his tape, and it doesn't. I mean, he does some things well, but there's other stuff where I'm like, eh. So
I'm rooting for Hampton.
I think it probably makes the most sense if there's not like a D lineman. I can see them going lineman too because Sean Payton likes his line too. So.
Yeah. But I mean, just for fantasy, I'd like to see like a nice young, hot, ready to go running back there.
Yeah.
That would be a higher. That would be a pretty good pick fantasy wise. I think Hampton.
Yeah, and
As long as they
Hampton-
don't get anybody else.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, there's some debate about like I think Hampton is usually kind of rated as like the second best running back in the class, but then you've got like Trayvon Henderson, who's really well thought of. My problem with him is he was injury prone. So I would be a little worried about that, but yeah, I don't know. It like you get into positions where there's less consensus about who goes next. So, like Mason Taylor, you've got him, and then you've got some people that really like Eli Arroyo, the tight end out of Miami. Again, same with running back. Like it's like, well, who's next that's best? Is it Omarion Hampton? Is it Trayvon Henderson? So Caleb just texted to say that he should be done in about 15 to 20. So I'll probably stay on through Denver's pick.
Okay.
But yeah, if you need to go, then
I might tune in back in from my house. But I gotta go.
Sure. Well, it was nice to get back together and do this again for the first time in like like 2.5 years. Because I don't know if we've done it since I've been in Colorado.
Really?
I'm not sure. Maybe we did a couple years ago. I don't know.
No.
I don't think we did last year. I mean, I guess we can just go back in the channel and look and see when was the last time we did this. Look back and see.
When was the last time? Let's see. I think you're right, though. I think it has been 2 years.
Let's see. So, no, we did do that. My mistake. We did do the draft last year. We did.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it was just me and you, I think, again.
Yeah. So we did because I recognized the background from my apartment then. So
Back for the draft, yeah.
So we did. Yeah, it is fun. I like getting back together for at least the draft. Who
knows, dude? Maybe we should give it another shot. I had well, I had a guy approach me. I joined this podcasting group on Facebook, and he was looking for people to. I shared a few of our podcast stuff we've done, and he wanted me to come in for like NFL, or he wanted to know if I knew anybody. I thought about. Would you want to do something like that? I thought about telling him about you. You'd be good for something like that.
Yeah, I mean, potentially so. I mean, I think I would have interest if, especially if he's got viewers. I mean, we just, we kind of do this here for ourselves.
Yeah.
No one, I mean, we had for a while. I mean, we were kind of building a little audience,
When-
but,
When we had momentum, yeah, we did.
yeah. But,
But
yeah, I'd definitely be interested in like seeing what his channel is and what, who he is and
Yeah.
all that. And then potentially,
I'll send him your info.
yeah. And if like send me his stuff so I can take a look at it too. But,
Yeah, I don't think he has a channel yet. He's just thinking
Oh.
about putting one together.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, I might still be interested.
So,
But man, the Falcons are down to like 40 seconds and still haven't made their pick. So they're apparently having some trouble making their decision here. So, but
well, I really don't care who they pick. So what I'll do is I will join back when I get home just to kind of see where we're at.
okay, sounds good. Well, I'll text Caleb to tell him I'll probably still be on. So, all right.
Okay.
Good to see you. Thanks for the
You too.
conversation and have
Yeah.
a good night.
Well, I'll probably see you a little later.
Okay.
I'll just check in.
All right.
All right.
Sounds good. All right. Just me for a little bit here. If anybody's actually watching. Let's see here. I have to tell Caleb that I'll be on through Denver's pick, at least. All right. Pretty sure the Falcons are probably not going running back here with Bijan Robinson. Pretty sure they're probably not going tight end, seeing how Kyle Pitts hasn't really done much, but yeah, I don't know what we'll see out of the Falcons here. I have not really kept up with the Falcons' needs. I think people have just generally been mocking defensive players to them. Maybe they take Walker, the linebacker out of Georgia, who he's dropping. Taking a while to get it in.
One of the few teams that has used all of its allotted time so far to give us all an opportunity to catch our breath. But I'm told that Roger Goodell has the pick in hand.
All right.
Making his way to the stage now. So
Roger Goodell's making his way.
their selection here for the Atlanta and the Arizona Cardinals on the clock after that.
The Cardinals could use a receiver. I could see them going with somebody like Golden with their pick. Cincinnati needs defense. And here's the Falcons pick.
The Atlanta Falcons select Jalen Walker.
Jalen Walker. I was right. Jalen Walker. Well, I guess I don't know if he's a hybrid guy. He's listed on Kuiper's big board as a linebacker. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think maybe Goodell messed that up. Or someone who gave him the card messed that up because he's a linebacker. Story, come here. Up, up. Story, you want to look at yourself again? You want to look at yourself? See yourself? Yeah? Story's the real star of the show. Look, there you are. See yourself? Well, I think Amari and Hampton's probably going to be there if the Broncos want him, unless somebody trades up at the last second, which I'm not sure that would make a lot of sense. Yeah, I think that. So we've got Arizona now. Let's go back and look at a mock draft again. Yeah, so people were mocking Jihad Campbell. I could see that. You're probably going to see a little run of defense here prior to the Broncos pick. I could see the Cardinals going wide receiver, maybe for Golden. They need somebody opposite Marvin Harrison. Seahawks could potentially go offense, but I'm guessing it's going to be a lot of defense here for a little bit till the Broncos, and it might even be the Broncos if somebody like Derek Harmon's still there.
I'm looking forward to see what they do with it in order to get the pass rush they need. So to that point, if at first you don't succeed, just keep trying and trying again. The Falcons have been trying to fix their pass rush since Six Nations. This is another effort for
All right.
trying to fix this pass rush. Hopefully it works for them this time. Yeah, absolutely. It's interesting that Mike Green is still on the board from Martin, who's fantastic. Yeah, that's what they are.
This is the first time the Falcons have used the top 16 pick on a defensive player since Vic Beasley in 2015, and we'll continue in 30 seconds.
Cardinals are still on the clock.
For some of us, personal finances aren't just personal. We use money as a tool to help all the people we hold in our minds. Loved ones, neighbors, the communities we call home, and the causes we care about. At Thrivent, we help you plan your financial picture with the bigger picture in mind. Because the most important thing...
I think the interesting thing maybe for Denver would be if they decide to go wide receiver instead of running back. You can get a running back later. They want to take... I just don't know if there's anybody at 20 here that feels like you're getting plus value for that pick. Feels like if they had the opportunity to trade back, they could trade back and get a guy of similar caliber. Yeah, Mel Kiper's mentioning Matthew Golden along with some of the defensive guys for the Cardinals.
That seems to be the thing. Helping these young quarterbacks. Look what they did in Carolina. They went down to receive. Help the young quarterbacks. Look what they did in Chicago. Went down to the tight end. You got to help him with some weapons on the outside.
This takes too long after the picks come in.
Basically runs his defense. They just can't rush the passes very well down there. They need some goose off the edge. They need some goose on the inside. When they got one time Josh Sweat from free agency, Josh Sweat from the Philadelphia Eagles who want to carry it up in the Super Bowl against Kansas City. And you're right, they still do want to see wide receivers.
They drafted one obviously last year high in the draft, and Marvin Harrison Jr. had something of an up and down season in his first year there with Arizona and their quarterback Kyler Murray. So the Cardinals pick is in, and the commissioner is making his way to the stage for the announcement of the Cardinals at 16.
With the 16th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Arizona Cardinals select Walter Nolan, defensive tackle, Mississippi.
Walter Nolan. 3 more picks before the Broncos. Problem is I have people texting me about the draft and so it's difficult to maintain this by myself and try to text people back too for all the many viewers that are watching here. All right, let's see. Got to text back one person.
He can be dominant, greedy. He has multiple position versatility, and I line him up in three techniques because a guy like this has to get vertical, that can hit gaps and get to the quarterback. When you pick a defensive tackle this high, you're expecting impact play, not just tackles for losses. You want sacks, you want cause fumble. He's the switchiest defensive tackle in the draft. He's got that. He can get upfield and get around the offensive guards and get to the quarterback. My only problem with it is I didn't see it consistently enough. He was a 5-star. He was the number 1 recruit coming out of high school. He's been the guy for a long time. He's worn that burden. So now, as he takes it to the next level, can we get the flies out of it? Can we get the sacks? Can we get the production? That's what I want to see. That was the thing. Like, and I hate saying consistency when it comes to players, right? Because not every player does it all the time. You just want to see that the individual turns to them being much more on than they're off. Walter, when he's on, you talk about taking.
All right, you got to think Cincinnati's going defense here. I mean, with all the money they've paid, Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, man, they have got to have some defense, or they're going to just be winning every game like 63-57.
Season at Ole Miss. He's an Arizona Cardinal. The celebration is on with the family, the Cincinnati Bengals. Joe Burrow's team on the clock. We'll hear from them after this from Green Bay. You think you know me? Why I do what I do? From day one, it's always been about him. My mom, my sister, DeAndre, brother, Shiloh, Shador, and Boss, the coaches, players, that's family. Every move, every sacrifice, every step along the way. See, the spotlight may follow me, but I put all that back into them. Because it's never been about me. It's always been about family.
Bengals pick is in. Yeah, this has got to be defense. I think Seattle's kind of the only one out of these three that could be kind of interesting. I mean, I don't know who they would take. I mean, they've got running backs. They've got Kenneth Walker and Zach. I forgot his last name. They signed Cooper Kupp to go with Smith and Jigba. I would think they're either going to go O-line or defense. These have all got to be defense of some kind. And then Broncos pick could be interesting. I mean, with the defensive players that are probably going to go for that before them, yeah, maybe it's going to end up being Hampton. He's been the guy predicted all along. They desperately need a running back, but do you go with somebody else and then try to come back for your running back in round 2 or 3 or something? I mean, Hampton looks really good. He doesn't look Ashton Genty level good, and he's a different kind of player, but I could see him doing really well in their system.
Welcome home. The late final and El Clasico on ESPN.
wouldn't mind Derek Harmon being there for Denver. He's the defensive tackle out of Oregon, but I think a lot of people had him mocked here to Cincinnati. It's not really. I mean, there's a couple of edge players, but I think that probably makes a lot of sense for the Bengals.
17, the Cincinnati Bengals, a team that lost Sam Hubbard, a defensive end, to retirement this season. We're still talking to Trey Hendrickson about a new contract, but the two sides still have not gotten close to a deal. So in the interim, the Bengals are expected to look at the spot for more pass rush help. All right, Jeff, thank you. That Bengals pick is in. They have the three big players to deal with during this offseason, and thus far, Hendrickson is the one they have not been taking care of.
And here's Goodell with the pick.
The defense, major questions. Here's the commissioner who has the 17th pick as we begin the second half of the first round of this draft. The commissioner enjoying the musical performance. And here's the selection. With the 17th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Cincinnati Bengals select Shamar Stewart, defensive end.
Shamar Stewart. Okay.
All right, so he was a top 10 national recruit coming out of Miami, and does he ever look the part? The athleticism off the charts. But Mel, we've talked about it throughout this draft process. Just 4.5 sacks in 3 seasons at College Station, so it's a different.
All right. 2 more picks before the Broncos.
All right, where are we at?
Oh, you're back.
I'm back.
So we are at about to have pick 18 coming up. So you didn't miss much. You missed like 2 picks. So the
Defensive picks.
Yeah, so the Falcons took Walker, the linebacker out of Georgia, and then the Bengals just took Shamar Stewart, an edge rusher out of Texas A&M, is it? And then I'm blanking out on who was the pick in between that, but yeah, pretty sure it was another.
We got Thomas. Oh, defensive pick. We got Thomas H. watching, just to let you know. And my son was watching earlier. He said, "Sup."
Yeah. Well, they probably got pretty bored when it was just me, because I was like trying to respond to text messages and like also just doing all these multitasking. So I think it's going to be a more entertaining bit to have you back for sure. So welcome back.
What does Thomas mean about go Dogs Falcons? Who do they pick?
Well, like I said, they drafted Walker. The Falcons drafted Jalon Walker, the linebacker out of Georgia.
From the Dogs.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So we got 2 picks left before Denver. I'm guessing both of these are going to be defense. Seattle signed Sam Darnold. They signed Cooper Kupp. I don't know what their offensive line looks like, if they could use O-line help, but
I feel like every team could always use O-line help.
Yeah.
I mean, you just can't have enough good O-linemen. And it's like one of the least, I don't know. It kind of feels like coaches like, we'll make something happen.
Right. Yeah. And Tampa, I don't really know Tampa's needs. I think they're generally getting defensive players mocked to them. I think it'll be interesting for the Broncos because some people I think had Derek Harmon mocked to the Broncos. He's a defensive tackle out of Oregon. So if he doesn't go to Seattle, but I guess there's maybe some medical. Oh, okay. So apparently there's some medical concerns on Derek Harmon. So I guess that's why he's kind of falling.
So we only have 2 more picks until Denver.
Just versatile.
Yeah. The Seahawks pick is in, and then after that it's Tampa, and then Denver. Yep.
Tampa, I would like to see them get some either tight end help or O-line help, but of course defense. Yeah, I guess they need a lot, but yeah, defense would be good. But if they could shore up their O-line with Baker Mayfield, protect him a little bit better and open up some more lanes for, is it Bucky Irvin they have?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think they could be a tremendous, with a little O-line help, they could be a tremendous offense.
Yeah.
But Bucky was getting hit in the backfield so much last year. I had him in a lot of leagues.
Right.
He won me a bunch of games, and then he stopped winning me games.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fantasy football-wise. Baker ended up being a great fantasy football quarterback.
Yeah. Here we go. Here's Goodell with the pick.
Okay, who got?
In the 2025 NFL Draft, the Seattle Seahawks select Ray Zabel, guard, North Dakota State.
Okay.
So there he is.
O-line.
You just mentioned it. He had NIL offers to leave North Dakota State, but stayed in part so he could play with his brother. And as a result, he won his second FCS championship.
Was it O-line?
Yeah, a guard.
Yeah.
By the way, is the fourth year in the last 5 the Bison have had an offensive lineman selected in the draft.
Boring. Who do they have wide receiver-wise? They don't have anybody left, do they?
For who?
Seahawks?
So Jackson Smith and Jigba kind of broke out, and they signed Cooper Kupp, although at Cooper Kupp's age and health concerns, I don't know about that.
And they have – who do they have? What's his name from Minnesota? His quarterback?
Sam Darnold.
Sam Darnold. I don't know. This might be a tough year for Seattle.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I hope not, because all the money they paid Darnold, they're paying to win now.
Well, then it's a wise move to go O-line, protect him. I mean, he needs a lot of room. Like
He does.
I think Minnesota did well for him because he had a good O-line. He had a lot of protection.
Yeah. Yeah. He just got exposed in the playoffs. I mean, like, they just, teams just showed, like, if you just kind of pass rushed with kind of a pinch move where they come off the edges and really kind of forced him up into the pocket, like, he was sailing balls like 10 feet high in that game against Detroit.
Yeah.
And then the other game against, was it maybe Arizona? Oh, no. I started to say it was Arizona. It was the Rams, because they had to play the Rams in Arizona because of the fires in California.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Because I was thinking like, well, wait a minute. I think that game was in Arizona, but I'm like, Arizona was not good.
They were in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's what it was. And then they played the Rams there, and they both just did the same thing to him. And so there were just a lot of jokes back about, the old him seeing ghosts thing, because like his rookie,
back to the ghosts,
yeah, like his rookie year against the Patriots, Bill Belichick and whoever was scheming that defense at that time, they just destroyed him.
Thomas H wants to know, do you want Omarion for?
I think at this point, yeah. I mean, I think it's a deeper draft for running backs. What I don't want to see is Tampa trade this pick. I don't want to see somebody jump up above the Broncos to get the player that they're wanting to take. And I don't know if that would be, Hampton or what. So I just don't want to see Tampa trade this pick right now is my main concern. Yeah, I think Hampton at this point. Like, I really wanted Colston Loveland. Genty would have been great, but he was never going to happen. I was pretty sure Loveland was never going to happen. pretty sure McMillan was not going to fall that far. So I think Amari and Hampton at this point. I mean, he looks good. He looks good. He doesn't look Ashton Genty good. Yeah, the Bucks clock is frozen, so I'm not sure if their pick is in or what's going on with this.
Well, I like Hampton for fantasy. I said that earlier. I stick by it. I think that's the best pick for the Broncos for fantasy. I
Yeah,
don't really care about them as a team. I do kind of like. I think they have been, especially last year, was a kind of a Cinderella story of people pretty much ruling them out, and then they made the playoffs.
yeah. I'm curious because like the Bucks ticker, like the time clock, has stuck at like 4:55 on my screen. Okay, now it just went back up to 8:37. So I'm not sure if they. Okay, I guess their picks in. Yeah. Okay. So I guess maybe their picks in, and then Denver's now on the clock.
What was their pick?
Well, we don't know yet. It's on commercial.
Oh, I see.
It's on
Okay.
mine.
Have you heard about? I've been watching like little shorts, fantasy football shorts or football shorts. What was it, like Minnesota? They missed their pick and they couldn't get back to their pick for like 8 rounds. When was that?
Well, no, what happened was, I don't remember what year this was, but it's probably been like
10 years.
10, 15, maybe even 15.
Yeah.
They missed their pick, and I think 2 teams jumped them because I think Kansas City was one of them. Let me just Google this real quick because I remember this happening.
You were watching?
I was watching, and it was so crazy because oh yeah, we're going all the way back. So so this was actually 2003. So we're going back 22 years. Yeah, so they missed it, and then trying to see. Let's see. Trying to see if it just told very quickly. Yeah, so they were gonna try to swap picks with the Ravens. They were at 7, and they were gonna try to swap picks with the Ravens at 10, and then so it wasn't the Chiefs. It was the Jaguars and the Panthers both jumped ahead. So I mean, that is just so like, I mean, you'd think these things would just be these well-oiled machines. I mean, you're talking about the NFL where, I mean, just the money that's at stake here, for that to happen is just insane. And I can't imagine that would ever happen again, but it's just crazy to me that ever happened in the first place. But yeah, I'm glad to see the Bucks stuck with their pick. I don't think they're going to take a running back here. If they took Omari and Hampton, I would be disappointed.
He'd be pretty sick. Well,
surely they're going to just stick with Bucky Irving. Here's Goodell's up at the podium now.
Speaking of sticking with our pick, we're sticking with A.J. Herschel, the kid.
Back after vanquishing this stupid thing that wouldn't export for 20 minutes, but we're back.
So interestingly enough, the Bucks took Emeka Egbuka, the wide receiver out of Ohio State.
Wide receiver?
What?
Yeah. So I mean, you got Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and now Egbuka. And Egbuka is kind of a Chris Godwin. So I don't really understand that pick so much.
Both Godwin and Evans have had health problems.
They have, yeah.
That's crazy.
And Egbuka was like he's been mocked to the Broncos in some drafts.
Well, people shouldn't mock him. He seems like a good guy.
Well, I think you know what I mean. Like just because we have someone in here young enough to be either of our sons does not mean that we need to go with dad jokes now.
Listen, I will always go with dad jokes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Egbuka was an interesting one because some people were projecting him in the teens, and then but then it was sort of one of those things where they thought like, maybe he's not really like, he's basically looked at as a number 2 receiver. Like he's not really like a number 1 guy, but a lot of people have said like he was their, like the best character guy in the draft, and he's good. Like he's got a lower ceiling, but so he's been kind of all over the place. But yeah, at this point, I don't know. I guess the Broncos probably need to take Hampton. I don't know.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think probably so. I mean, you can always get a running back later, but Hampton looks really good.
Well,
On tape,
Thomas
so.
H says,
Yeah.
are the Bears contractually obligated to draft Big Ten players?
Maybe they want guys who can play in the cold.
Hey, all I'm saying is Caleb Williams came from USC, okay?
And
We
look what
were-
happened.
Yeah, because we didn't give him an offensive line. We went tight
Okay.
end and
I also wouldn't be shocked to see the Broncos
No.
trade the pick here because, and I would not really be upset if they traded back
really.
like 5 places. I don't know if I'd be
Really?
comfortable if they went more than that.
Well, I mean, when you're looking at it, nobody else is going to go for Omarion Hampton. If they want Omarion Hampton, they can just get him, 5 picks later.
Well, here's the thing. If you want to trade up ahead of the Steelers and take Shadur, this
Right.
is the pick to do it.
Right. Or Jackson Dart maybe, because there's talk that maybe Jackson Dart might go before Shadur. And
Yeah, true.
and so there has been talk that maybe a team could trade up with Denver. And it's interesting because they're going, the clock's now down to about 3 minutes.
I'm sure they're talking to people.
They're probably talking to people because you don't know what Pittsburgh's going to do with that pick. And if you do want one of those quarterbacks, you probably here's probably the place to get him because Pittsburgh might. But I hope they don't. I hope they don't trade out of the first round. But I think of all the teams left in the first round, I'm not sure that there's anybody other than maybe the Rams. Like if the Rams say hey, we want to go up and get the successor to Matt Stafford, but other than that, then you're probably trading back to the beginning of the first round or the beginning of the second round because I don't think there's anybody else that is going to go up. I mean, all the teams at the bottom of the round here have a quarterback. So,
Yeah.
I mean, there's other running backs in this draft. I mean, Trayvon Henderson looks good, but he's kind of injury prone.
He's not a first rounder. He's
can
not.
Yeah. Can he really handle a full load, of carries? His teammate, Judkins, I think it is, he looks, I mean, pretty good, but he's not a first rounder, I don't think. So I don't know. Yeah, Broncos are now down to a minute and a half. So
they're taking their sweet time with
maybe,
this.
Maybe they're waiting. Maybe they're either working a deal or maybe waiting to see if somebody calls at the last minute. Although now at this point, I don't think you could, unless they've already got a deal in the works. I don't think you could swing one at this point.
They could Billy Bean it at the last second, call somebody up. You want this 20th pick, don't you?
I don't know. I mean, yeah, I just don't know if. I think Hampton would be the pick here that makes sense, but I don't know if you can get a good deal, then it probably makes sense. I wouldn't mind them trading back. I was talking to Judah while you were gone we were talking about tight ends, talking about, and congrats on Colston Loveland, by the way. I was hoping the Broncos would get him, but Mason Taylor, the tight end out of LSU, LSU, son of Jason Taylor and Zach Thomas's sister, I think it was. So, I mean, that's about as good of a pedigree. Oh no, Broncos picks in. So
here we go. It's about time.
They did make it.
I was about to say, they were planning on taking Emeka and then everything got thrown in the garbage as soon as he went to the Bucs.
Yeah, I don't know if that could have been maybe it. Maybe that was it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You responded, are the Falcons obligated to take Georgia players?
Hey, I'm just saying. I know Thomas H is a Falcons fan. I'm just saying.
That's a good comeback.
I think I'm going to be disappointed if this is just
Malachi Starks.
Yeah. This. I want this to be Hampton. I think I can get excited about Hampton. They need a.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
it would be boring in the sense that they've been mocked to have him, but
You want to take Will Johnson still on the board? Arguably the best defensive prospect left.
Probably not.
I mean, you're like you said, you're in a conference with Justin Herbert, Patrick Mahomes, and Geno Smith, who's obviously the real threat.
True.
you
Yeah.
think Geno falls off this year? Like finally becomes the pumpkin he always was?
No, because they're gonna hand it to freaking
Right.
Ashton Ginty 500 times, so he's gonna have a QBR of like 157, going 10 for 12 with 9 of those passes to Brock Bowers.
So here's Goodell, and then I'll tell you something. Well, actually, they're talking about Make-A-Wish month.
Thomas H says yes.
They No, we were talking about like Judah was actually doing a mock draft, and I had told him that like I could see Genty being like, first round pick, and then I really got to look, and I'm like, I could see him going like 5, 6 maybe, and then he went 7th.
He went 7th in the mock I was doing.
Mock. Yeah.
Gotcha.
And he probably should have gone 6th, except Judah had that pick, and so of course he didn't make the right choice. So.
Good point.
That's great.
All right, here we go. Here's the kid announcing the Broncos pick.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, don't disappoint me.
Oh, really?
Disappointed.
They selected a cornerback from Texas.
There you go. Got to stop Geno Smith somehow.
Well, I'm not even sure where.
I didn't even know that name.
I'm really surprised seeing him over Will Johnson. That is like, I know that he had a hamstring injury 2 years ago or something, but
Will Johnson.
Yeah.
Huh.
Well, that's interesting.
The is crazy.
Defensive coach is going to defense.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that pick. I mean, I guess I don't know. I mean, I guess you do need, DBs, but I mean, you got Sertan, you got Riley Moss. I don't know.
Thinking about it, they're probably going to go for some scat back running backs. That's who's the coach again?
Sean Payton.
Yeah, Peyton. That's who Peyton likes. He doesn't like heavy hitter,
I wouldn't.
Unless their name is Mark Ingram the second.
Right. That's exactly what I was going to say. Is he did draft Mark Ingram.
Even Mark Ingram wasn't, when he came out of the draft, he wasn't like slated as some kind of like 3-down running back.
Yeah, but that's not like a.
He was 3rd round too, wasn't he?
No, he was first. He was a first rounder.
Was it Mark Ingram?
Oh,
yeah.
He's on the cover of like NCAA football 2010. Oh, he was a first rounder.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think though, because your running back room is so bad. Like you have to.
I mean, there's no running back room. It's basically what it is.
What are you talking about? Sincere.
No,
he's sincerely the best.
No, he was Raiders. Raiders.
It's Jaleel McLaughlin, Audric Estime, Tyler Beatty, and sounds like a country singer, Blake Watson.
Yeah.
Who had 10 yards last year, by the way.
Well,
4 carries.
I'll be shocked if they don't get somebody in the first 3 rounds. Pittsburgh's pick's already in, so this is going to be interesting to see if they get a quarterback.
Is it Shedeur?
I think it's going to be Shedeur. I really think it. I think Prime and the coach, what's his name again?
Mike Tomlin.
I think they have a connection.
Draft my son?
I saw one of the talking heads talking about how Tomlin would be the best coach for that kind of situation.
That's probably true.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting. I mean, is it a quarterback? And if so, like, which one is it? Shedeur or is it Jackson Dart?
Mm-hmm.
I wish we had. I wish they kind of announced the position first, and then we had the anticipation of like if it was a quarterback of like, okay, which one?
Crazy. That would be crazy.
They need to change the format just solely for this pick, and then they can go back to.
That would be funny. He comes out, it's a quarterback, and it's
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess the Colt or the Broncos pick, I don't know. I guess it's fine.
no, it's not. It's terrible.
I think I would have liked to have seen Hampton, but I mean,
I tell you what it says about
Uh,
Peyton is that he's confident in his team.
I guess. Well, or that he values DBs. Okay, here's Goodell with the Steelers.
Uh-oh.
pick.
Uh-oh.
Pittsburgh Steelers select Derek Herman.
D lineman. D lineman.
It's Mike Tomlin. He drafts defense.
Well,
Yeah,
It's Mike Tomlin. There it is.
Okay.
yeah.
There it
Yeah.
is.
Going back to what you were saying earlier, Jared, it's just that ground and pound. They're just going to stick with the old school football
Yeah.
and put all their hopes and dreams on Rudolph, the red-nosed reindeer.
It's not going to end well.
I'm going to be curious to see, like, okay, again, like Sean Payton gets aggressive sometimes. Might the Broncos trade up into the late first or the early second or something?
Wasn't
to
it
like
also him who traded like 4 picks to go get Adam Troutman, like the 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th rounder to go get him?
Last year?
Wasn't that like his last year with the Saints? Wasn't that Sean Payton?
I think he did trade like a bunch of late picks to get him like in the 4th round.
It
Yeah.
was like the rest of their draft. It was like 4 through 7 to like move up
Yeah.
5 picks or something.
Yeah. And I mean, what did Troutman end up doing?
Nothing.
Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was the only pick I cared about. I guess not ladies, but gentlemen.
We might have ladies watching in the
You never
future.
know.
Exactly. Yeah.
We have one person watching now. It might not be Thomas H. Oh man. Well, I will. It was really fun doing this again, guys. Let's do it again.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna bail too.
Sounds good.
I think that's unless there's something crazy and the Broncos trade back into the first round or something, then yeah.
Did you get your project done, AJ?
Yes, it is submitted, and I had it on one screen, and I had like the ESPN ticker on the other one. And as soon as I saw Ashton Ginty go, I like hit the computer, and I'm pretty sure that's when stuff stopped working, because it took 20 minutes to export this audio file that should have taken 5. But we love Pro Tools. It worked out in the end. And yeah, the last time the Raiders stole an offensive player that I wanted, it was 2015. And I was watching the draft on the computer, and it was Amari Cooper. And they drafted him, and I immediately threw my hat down and went, there goes the season. So if this has anything to say, the person we took that year was Kevin White. So yeah, if Loveland is Kevin White, it's going to be a rough year.
They're actually similar players.
No, they're not.
I think Loveland will be great as long as he stays healthy.
Yeah.
But it's again, when you've got like DJ Moore, Roma Dunze, Cole Kmet, it just feels like it feels like he won't make as big of an impact with Chicago as he would have somewhere else.
Yeah.
He won't be like a fantasy, like somebody you go out and get.
Well, it's also tight ends, though. Like, after you get past the 7th one, he might be. We took a flyer on Cole Kmet for 5 years, and we still
I would rather have Cole Kmet, I think, at this point.
Or week 3 Kyle Pitts before he drops off.
Oh, God. All right, guys, I'm gonna leave. AJ, are you gonna stick around and close out the studio?
We'll see. I can close it out for tonight. Yeah, I can close it out.
All right. Yeah, you're gonna have to kick me out of there. I'm in here twice.
How did you manage to do that?
I just left it on back at my. All right. I will see you guys later.
All right.
Good night.
Had fun. Have a good night. We'll
Talk to
need
you
to
soon.
need to do it again sometime before the next draft.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Good idea.
All right. Have a good night.
You too.
So I'm the only one left. I feel like I'm in the post-credit scene of a Marvel movie or something like that, and I'm just sitting here after doing a whole bunch of editing and stuff. Show up fashionably late to Roto Hackers by like 2 hours, but this has got to be one of the most basic drafts that I think I've seen in a long time, outside of them, the Jaguars trading up for Travis Hunter. But, if something else crazy happens, maybe we'll come back on. Maybe we will. Judah Buddha still got this empty room that he could come back to at any time. And I'm pretty sure he has showed up there multiple times over the last few weeks. We call it the Judah effect. I also find it hilarious that I came back and immediately was renaming coaches again. It is great. Thomas H., I know you're watching. I don't know if anybody else is, but it says that we have 2 viewers. And for anybody watching later, thanks for showing up for the Roto Hackers Draft Special, which is a yearly tradition, apparently, where we come out of nowhere and come back and talk about the draft all over again, where, guess what? Multiple Georgia players went in the first round. Cam Ward went first, and Mike Tomlin drafted defense. So, Thomas H., I think, has got the right idea that it's pretty boring. Also, Thomas H., I missed the Ryan Fitzpatrick picture, man. We got to get it back. We got to get the headshot back. But, the rest of the draft, this is crazy because even with the Jaguars trading up, this is the first time that we almost had the first one since the AFL-NFL merger, the first draft to not have any trades. Like, we got that close, which is wild to me. But, if any quarterbacks do end up showing up in the rest of the draft, maybe we'll come back on and talk about it a little bit. Let us know if you think Jackson Dart or Shedeur Sanders is going to end up going first. I would be really surprised if any of these teams took a flyer this late on quarterback. If anything, I think it'll be somebody else trading up, maybe getting in by a couple of picks. But overall, this is it's a pretty simple NFL draft, not going to lie. But this has been the Roto Hackers podcast. I've been here for like 15 minutes. Thomas H., good to see you as well. Good to have you back on the show. We'll have to come back and do this again. But we will see everybody, the tons of people watching, that we will see all of you next time on the Roto Hackers podcast. I am AJ Herschel in for Judah Buddha and Jared. We will see you guys next time. Adios.